When you entered the portal, were there a list of schools that you were interested in? How did that process play out?
The schools that called me the most were just really Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Georgia, and here. Going into it, I knew I was going to hear from, a lot of schools just due to the fact that I had a decent freshman year. I really just wanted to keep the main thing. Like, what do I really want out of college football? What can give me what my dad had told me, as I was a kid when he was telling me, I used to do this with my teammates. We used to go here. We used to just be all over the place. Like, what could give me that feeling? Like, what could give me those experiences? And just led me to here.
All these big-time powerhouse schools are calling Dylan Edwards in Derby, Kansas. Did you expect that?
Yes, sir.
K-State family, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Cats Talk, hosted by Wildcat NIL. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Be sure to like, comment, or subscribe wherever you find your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Please also follow us on social media. Your support makes it so we can continue to put out these podcast episodes. If you're looking for more information on NIL, please visit www.catsnil.com. Thanks for your support, and go Cats. Hey K-State family, welcome to this episode of Cats Talk hosted by Wildcat NIL. I'm your host, Curry Sexton. On this podcast, we will bring you exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the most influential people at K-State. Today, we're thrilled to be joined by our electric new running back, receiver, punt returner, kick returner, do-it-all weapon for the Cats, Dylan Edwards. Dylan, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here. Yes, sir.
You've officially been a part of the team for a couple of weeks now. How has the transition been, and how are you fitting in with the team?
Man, I think I'm fitting in really nice. I'm getting adjusted, pretty good, and just taking day by day. It's going to be definitely an adjustment from where I was from, but I'm loving it so far.
Awesome. And would you say the transition has been an easy one or a difficult one?
It's been pretty easy. Everyone here has been making it very smooth. Very personable people, genuine people here. So it's been pretty nice since I touched down in Manhattan.
That's great to hear. I'm sure it doesn't hurt that you're not a stranger to Manhattan or to K-State, right?
No, I'm not a stranger at all.
So far, I mean, you've only been here a couple of weeks. You probably haven't seen everything yet. You haven't had a full, practice or fall camp. What are some of the key differences that you've noticed so far between Colorado and now K-State?
Yeah, some of the workouts are very different. More, team oriented. Everybody's working together, to achieve one goal. And we have a lot of leaders on the team. So far I've seen Avery lead. And that's the first time I've seen, him in a team setting like that. So it was definitely crazy to, finally see him in that realm of his. So it's been cool. I've been having a great time here so far, and I just can't wait till the season and to start fall camp and everything.
Absolutely, man. I think it goes without saying, but we're excited. We're excited to see you put on the purple and make some stuff happen out there. Obviously we're in the middle part of June here. Got a little bit of time left before you get to fall camp, a little bit of time before that first game. What are your goals for the rest of this offseason, the rest of this summer, and then for fall camp?
Yeah, just putting on more muscle mass and just learning the playbook more and more every day. I know I'm not going to get it overnight, but over time it'll get easier and easier, and I can play faster and faster. So just really dialing on my game, working on my hands as well. I've been going to the indoor with Jackson Valta. He's a walk-on, a little freshman that I was cool with back at home in Wichita. So it's been cool, just getting to know guys and creating better relationships with my teammates here.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about this a little bit already. You're not a stranger to K-State or this program. In fact, your dad played here in the early 1990s under Coach Snyder. What was your relationship with K-State growing up as a kid in Wichita? Yeah,
I was always in purple. My dad always, put in my head and my brother's head, K-State or nothing,
Yeah.
So it was definitely a cool thing to, come back here and be a part of this, especially when my dad was here. He played here, and he tells me all his stories of him and Kevin Lockett and J.J. Smith and all those guys, back then, just, being with the guys, just with his teammates and everything, and that's the same experience I want here.
Absolutely. I mean, your dad was a part of some of the I think they call themselves the blueprint. You know, they kind of laid the blueprint for what we've got today. So pretty cool to see you following your dad's footsteps, and Sterling and Tyler following their dad's footsteps, and a lot of legacy players now coming through K-State. So it's great, obviously, to have some of that legacy impact here. Now, obviously, you played at one of the biggest powerhouse football programs in the state at Derby for a former football player, for a former K-State football player in Brandon Clark. Your dad played at a high level. When did you first think, man, I'm going to be a big-time college football player, and I'm going to go play at the highest level?
Wow, that's a great question. I could just say from elementary school, from high school, I always just believed in myself. Like, my dad instilled in me to have a certain confidence to you to want to achieve, high expectations for yourself. So every day, my dad would push me, and my brother would push me as well to just become, something better, something that I can be proud of one day. So I just try to work as hard as I can to, make good of any opportunity I get. So I just really, from a young age, it's just always been instilled in me to just work hard.
That's awesome. That confidence is key, man, at this level.
Yes, sir.
Now, K-State was your first offer back in, I think, December of 2020. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Describe the feeling of receiving your first Power 5 offer, and then that Power 5 offer coming from your dad's alma mater.
Yeah, it was a funny story about that. I was in the car at the time going back home from, I think, the mall or something, with my friends, and I got the call. And I was just so excited, and I literally rushed home, told my mom she was cooking for me at the time. She just started tearing up, and I was just like, Mom, I'm going D1, I'm going D1. She was just hugging me, and then I went upstairs. Well, my dad wasn't home at the time, and then he was upstairs. And so I went up there, and I told him, and I just started breaking down crying, Dad, I'm going D1, I'm going D1. He I'm so proud of you, and hugged me and all that. It was a very emotional day, very happy day for my family, just to know that dream I had since I was in elementary school came true and stuff like that. So it was definitely a surreal moment. And I remember the call with Coach Kleiman and Sped. Sped had called me and was like, hey, I can't give you his number directly, but I'm about to put you on the phone with him right now. Here you go. He gave it to Coach Kleiman, and he told me, and literally I was just on the phone thank you so much. I remember that day for sure.
That's awesome. It's a great story.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you got that first offer, and I know that was sort of that opened the floodgates.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect your recruiting process to take off the way that it did, to where all these big time powerhouse schools are calling Dylan Edwards in Derby, Kansas? Did you expect that?
Yes, sir. And that's not in a cocky way or any way. I just had the confidence in myself to know that I wanted to be a household name one day, and I'm still striving to be that, and I'm still, trying to be on a whole nother level when it comes to, people looking at my game. I want them to look at my game and say, okay, what can I do from Dylan Edwards' game to put into my game to make me better? I want to be that type of player. Mm-hmm. And to do that, I just got to keep working hard.
Absolutely, man. And that's, I think we haven't seen it yet at K-State, but we saw it last year. You've got a skill set that not many people have, ability to affect the football game in so many different ways. And so I don't think it's out of pocket to say I expected that, and I want to be somebody that people model their games after. So I think that's totally warranted, man. Now, how many offers did you end up with? I mean, you probably can't remember the exact number, but how many offers roughly did you end up with out of high school?
I know it was over probably 30 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, in the spring of spring, summer, junior year, going into senior year, I think you visited Nebraska and Oklahoma, and then K-State. And then in sometime in the latter part of June of 2022, you committed to K-State. At that point, what led you to commit with K-State back in June of 22?
Just the home feeling I had. You guys were my first offer, and Kansas State was always felt like home to me, since I was a little kid. It's even in my recruitment process, I think people could have put in their head that I was coming here just due to the fact I came to only Kansas State home games. Like, I didn't go to really any home games except for one Nebraska game, I want to say. And then, yeah, I was always here. Like, I literally was here all the time. And it just became normal to me. So I was like, why not, you know, come here and just be a Wildcat like I always should have.
Absolutely. So then, obviously, you know, we know that there was a lot. You know, you had a busy senior season. Did you ever, when you committed to the Cats in June of 22, did you ever envision changing that commitment or decommitting?
No.
And then, obviously, story goes, sometime in the latter part of July of that year, you get an offer from Notre Dame. Obviously, Notre Dame is one of those schools that is just, it's got a different feeling to it. You know, the Golden Dome helmets, you know, just it's one of the more prestigious schools. What led you to, or what made you flip then your commitment from K-State to Notre Dame?
I had a relationship with Dylan McCullough. His sons and I played on the same 7-on-7 team. And we had a, you know, cool relationship, and I ended up just talking to him on the phone, and he actually offered me at Indiana. So I had always, like, been, you know, cool with him, talking with him along all that time, and he was just a great guy, and he's still a great guy. I still talk to him to this day all the time, and he's a really good person, you know, bounce ideas off of, talk ball with, you know, just a cool football coach and just a friend, really. And I just felt like at the time, you know, I just wanted to make that decision for myself, and, you know, I'm happy that I got to learn from that situation and all that transpired, because, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today or
Absolutely,
the person
man.
I am today. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Was it a tough decision to make that flip?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a tough decision, especially when I announced that I was committed to Notre Dame at the time. It definitely was like a, you know, I'm happy, but dang, like I just let, you know, because I had a relationship with the coaching staff, you know, the coaches that's here right now. But, you know, things happen, and God, you know, led me back here. So everything that happened, you know, with that Notre Dame and just the flipping situation, that doesn't bother me anymore, knowing that I can make it right all here right now, and I'm here for a reason.
Absolutely, man. And I don't know about you, but I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. So, you know, you've had a journey, and it's been an exciting one to watch. But we're thankful that you're back here at K-State now. So you obviously then you had your senior season. You know, you're one of the best football players in the country. Certainly one of the best football players in the state of Kansas. And then right before signing day, you decommitted from Notre Dame and ultimately committed and signed with Colorado and with Coach Prime. Tell me about that decision. You know, what went into to flipping that late in the game and to ultimately signing with Deion?
Yeah, so what's crazy is after I had committed to Notre Dame, I didn't know the schooling requirements. So school like Kansas State from Notre Dame, it's two different, like you have to have credits in high school or something like that. So my senior year wasn't the normal senior year a player or anybody would have, really. I was taking college courses. I took a lot of math classes and stuff like that just to, you know, go to Notre Dame. I remember I even had to meet my tutor every day in my senior year just to deal with all the stuff I was dealing with, like school-wise, just to get it done and just to even go to a school like that. And I ended up passing all my classes, but at the end of the day, I just felt like what seemed right to me. And so what ultimately led me to make that decision to go to Colorado was, I'm sorry, this is my first time ever talking about it.
You're good, man. All good.
Oh my gosh. So Coach Prime coached me when I was little, when my family and I lived in Dallas, Texas. We played for an organization called The Truth, which he was the head of the organization. It was his team. And so he coached with my dad on the flag football team I was on. And he was just like, I was always around him. Like, we would go to his house. Like, I'm in his arm. Like, I'm in his arms. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got pictures in my home with me and him just smiling and stuff like that. Just, like, that was like family to me. Like,
Absolutely.
back when we lived in Texas. So, that pretty much just was like, okay, if he's going to offer me right now, 1 week before signing day, maybe God wanted me to just go here and just, figure out my life from there, because I just felt like it was faith. I just wanted to just take a leap of faith, and I did it.
And I think now that you tell that story about your relationship with Deion, when you were getting recruited by the Oklahomas and the Nebraskas and all these big time schools, I think Jackson State was always somewhere in like your top 5 schools.
Yeah.
And obviously they had obviously people knew Deion was there and Shedeur was there. So there was a natural draw, but I don't think people knew that, hey, there's almost a family component here. And so people were like, man, this guy's got offers from everybody, and he's looking at Jackson State. So it's cool to hear.
Wow, I didn't know you knew that. Okay.
Yeah, man, I remember thinking like, and at that time, you'd seen Travis Hunter flip from Florida State to Jackson State. And so you knew that like there's a certain draw with Deion, which was natural because of who he is. But then but I just thought, man, that's crazy. And so now to hear that story, it all makes sense. So
even the coaches on the Colorado staff were the same coaches from that Truth team.
Wow.
That's what people don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
I had no idea, man.
Yeah.
So it runs deep for sure.
Runs very deep.
So then you enrolled at Colorado in January of 23, right?
Yeah, I came early.
Okay. So 18-year-old kid leaving Derby, Kansas to go to Boulder, Colorado. What were your expectations going into your first offseason at a high-level college football program?
Yeah. At the time, it was definitely a different vibe there from when I first got there to when I ended up leaving and transferring and stuff like that. When I first got there, they were 1-11. It was just a whole lot going on when I first got there, just team-wise, it was a lot going on. And it was hard at first on me, leaving my family and all that. I was very homesick. But, I even had teammates on Colorado, team that played on the Truth as well. So I would kind of, be with them and just talk it out with them because I've always known them. So it was just leaning on, my friends there. So it was very hard at first, but, I got used to it.
Absolutely. And did you ever... obviously we know the type of season that you had, some massive games that you had. Was there a moment during that off season at Colorado where you thought, I belong here? You're surrounded by Shedeur Sanders, probably first round pick, Travis Hunter, probably first top 5, top 10 pick. Alton McCaskill was a big time player his first year at Houston. You've got bona fide, legitimate, proven college guys around you. Was there a moment for you where you thought, I knew I belonged here. I thought I belonged here, but now I really know I belong here? So
I think my confidence gained in college after our spring game. I had a great spring game, and it just felt good. I felt like it was just a faster pace of high school and bigger guys and stuff like that. It was just, I was getting used to the game towards the end of spring, and I knew after we had gotten all those new recruits and transfers at Colorado, and I had my exit meeting with Coach Prime and my position coach there, and they were asking me, we're about to get a whole lot of new running backs. We're about to fill the room up. We want you to compete. Is that going to be a problem for you? And I said, no. I want to compete. Bring anybody. I want to show you guys, I'm actually that guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy. And after that, I competed through all fall camp, and after that, I finally got the confidence to know, I belong here. I belong on the same turf as Shedeur and Travis. I belong on the same turf as all these big-name guys because I'm seeing them in practice every day, and they're making plays, and I'm making plays too. So it was great to know that my confidence got built at Colorado.
Absolutely. And I think it's cool in a day and age where we've got the sort of unlimited portal or unlimited transfer opportunities, and you see guys sometimes running from that competition. It's cool to hear you say that you kind of relished it. You said, bring it on.
I loved it because in the room, in the running back room, we all loved it. Me, Alton McCaskill, Cavassier Smoke, just Savion Wilkerson. Those are all 1,000-yard rushers from their schools, and they were all in one room. So I was everyone's little brother. And they all put their hands on me, as in help me out with anything I had going on with fronts, just defenses, protections. it'll be some days I'll be calling them on FaceTime like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Hey, help me out with this play. Or I don't know these plays. Help me out, bro. Like, please. Like, we got to play this week. Oh, I got you. And they'll literally pull up to my house or literally call me and sit on FaceTime with me for 2 hours. Those are the type of people, like, that was in the running back room. So I'm definitely, was sad when they all left.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was sad, yeah.
So you had a big spring, obviously you established yourself there at Colorado. What did you expect your role to be going into the season?
Yeah, towards the end of fall, I knew I was going to have a contribution to the team. And I started, like I said, gaining my confidence every single day at practice, just trying to make as much plays as possible. And I just knew I was going to play. And the coaches told me I was going to play. The day before the TCU game, I got told I was starting. And I couldn't sleep the night before. It was a great feeling for sure.
Absolutely. And then, obviously, most of us watched that game. Not only to watch you, but it was Prime's first game at Colorado. You guys were playing the defending national champ runner-up, and TCU at TCU. You had, you kind of in ways put the team on your back that day. I think you scored 4 touchdowns. You had almost 200 all-purpose yards. What was that feeling like? You got told the night before the game that you're the starter, and then you go out there in a high-scoring game against a good TCU team who had played for the national championship the year prior, and you lit them up. What was that like?
It was crazy, especially the expectations like everyone had of our team, and just to know we were playing the runner-ups from the year before that was in the Natty that I was watching on the couch with my friends in high school, like just months before going to college. It was definitely nerve-wracking, but that was probably one of the best days, I've had in a long time. It was just, it was such a surreal feeling, and a very emotional day just to know, a lot of people were just doubting us at the time, it was a great feeling, but, I wanted more games like that.
Absolutely. Get that taste. It's hard not to want more, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was my next question was, you obviously... We'll dive deeper into this conversation after the break. But before then, I want to tell you about our good friends at Home Field Apparel. Get on over to homefieldapparel.com and get your hands on some of Home Field's K-State selection of over 40 items that are thoughtfully created by Home Field's team. I personally have several pieces from their K-State selection, and I'm wearing my favorite Home Field sweatshirt today, featuring an old school Willie the Wildcat. Home Field Apparel is incredibly high quality and comfortable apparel, and there's something for everybody at homefieldapparel.com. Be sure to use the promo code CATSNIL24 when you check out to get 10% off your order. And when you use that promo code, Home Field will donate 10% of your order back to Wildcat NIL so we can support K-State student athletes. Again, get on over to homefieldapparel.com today and use the promo code CATSNIL24. You kind of put the college football world on notice against TCU. And then, Colorado had a little bit of an up and down season the rest of the year. And your role sort of fluctuated. You had games where you were prominently featured in the offense, and then you had games where you didn't get as many touches. What was it frustrating to kind of have the ebbs and flows of, hey, this week I'm getting 15 touches and this week I'm getting 5, or what was that like?
Man, it's out of your control. It's uncontrollable. So I just tried to do what's best for me as far as, how I came to practice every day, and just had a smile on my face to know that I was a freshman still playing. It didn't matter to me about, at the time, 15 touches a game. I'm playing, I'm making plays every time I get the ball, so I can't complain. I mean, I was sad we were losing and everything like that, but I couldn't complain that, I was getting to show my talents every single weekend.
Absolutely. And then, so obviously did you guys end 4-8 or 5-7? One of the two. You guys
4-8.
Yeah, but you came back from 1-11. You still outperformed a lot of people's expectations. Although those first couple of games, I think you guys set the bar pretty darn high.
Yeah.
Some crazy games. TCU game, the Colorado State game. I think people thought, oh man, this team could really be for real. You returned to Colorado after year one. What was your expectation for Dylan Edwards and for the team heading into year two at Colorado?
Yeah. So year two. The expectation was really to win football games. That was the biggest expectation. I think Shedeur was, aiming to do what he tried to do last year, and that's to win the Heisman, and Travis as well. And those were their goals. My goals were just to, get better all around, become more of a receiver too. I know in last year, I never really played much receiver, and if you look at my high school and stuff like that, I played a lot. A receiver, and I could move and move well, running routes and stuff like that. But I really didn't get to show that last year. So this year I was working on, just running routes, getting better back out the backfield, running routes, and just reading my blocks, reading defenses and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much my expectations on and this coming up year. So I couldn't let anything get in the way of what I was trying to accomplish, and that was to just be a better me.
Now, you went through spring ball, and then in late April of this year, you entered the transfer portal, as we know. What led you to make that decision to say, okay, I think I'm ready to move on from Colorado and find a new fit? What went into that decision-making process?
I just did a lot of, thinking and soul searching, and I learned a lot about myself from the time I was gone and from, Kansas, and I just thought about it real hard, and I just felt like it was my best decision to, leave Colorado and do my own thing as far as go to a team that I know it would be good for me, a good fit for me, and that I could be great at, and that I could do something that's bigger than myself and just be a part of a family. I don't know. I just felt like me and Avery on the same team. I know everybody, blows a lot of things out of proportion all the time when it comes to, me and him. But when I've seen a lot of games, K-State football games, because I love his game. He's not just my friend. So I watched all the games really, in the hotel, because we always had late games. So I would always just be in the hotel room and just looking at Avery Johnson just going crazy. My dog out there, man, we both doing it. We both D1 playing. And, just the spring was great, my game has definitely matured. I know a lot more than I did my freshman year, and I'm smarter out there on the field on how I play. And, I had to sit down with Shedeur and just telling him, my thoughts. And, he was just telling me to do what feels right, and I did what I felt was right.
So you entered the portal. I guess when you entered the portal, were there a list of schools that you were interested in, or how did that process play out?
Yeah, so just really the schools that called me the most were just really Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Georgia, and here. And ultimately, I knew, going into it, I knew I was going to hear from, a lot of schools just due to the fact that I had a decent freshman year. And so, I don't know, I really just wanted to keep the main thing. What do I really want out of college football? What can give me what my dad had told me, as I was a kid, when he was telling me, I used to do this with my teammates. We used to go here. We used to just be all over the place. What could give me that feeling? What could give me those experiences? And just led me to here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, so in K-State was your only visit during that portal process, during your time in the portal,
Yep.
right? And so you kind of just spoke to it, but what led you to shut down your recruitment after visiting here? Was it just some of what you just talked about? Some of the fit and the...
It was, I'm going to be honest with you, when I hit the portal, it was not in any way, shape, or form about chasing something that everyone knows that's famous in the portal. It was not about that. It was, like I told you, where it's going to give me the best experiences. Where am I going to be happy? What's a good fit for me? Where can I play football and be happy? Period. And that's what I felt. Avery had called me when I hit the portal, and he was just telling me, hey, look, I know you got a whole lot of schools calling you, but just come up here and just listen to, like, all the coaches and just come up here, bro. Like, and I told him, okay. I was like, all right, I'll come up here. And literally the same day I hit the portal, I got my ticket for 2 days later. Came up here, and I just felt like I was a junior back in high school again. Just, I don't know, I got on the field, I was just tingling, like everything was just, I don't know, my adrenaline started going, and I don't know, after I got on the field, it just really hit me, like, you gotta get here. Like, you gotta do it. You gotta do it with your friend. Like, and you gotta do it. Just gotta go.
And now, obviously, you know, I think right when you hit the portal, Avery posts a picture of you guys when you were, I don't know, how old were you guys in that little league photo, the Pee Wee photo?
That was in the 4th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys were on the same team,
yep.
Quarterback and running back. So now and then obviously you guys were close friends throughout. That was well documented. You went to different high schools, competitive high schools, but what role did your relationship with Avery, both as a football player and as a person, what role did that play in you visiting here and then ultimately deciding to come play football at K-State?
Like I told you, I think it was like a few, questions before this. Like, I understand he's my friend. Let's put that to the side.
Yeah.
I like his game. I think Avery's great. And I think, him throwing me the ball, us in the same backfield, as well as DJ Gittins and our whole running back room, Joe Jackson, Jimmy, Evan Cantu, everybody, Devon. I think we got something special here. And just to know that he was going to be running the offense, and, you got Coach Wells and Coach Riley, dialing up plays, and I like Coach B.A. as well. That's my position coach.
Absolutely.
Like, I just felt like it was a great fit for me. I really did. And that's the most genuine way I can put it. And just, I wouldn't have came here if I didn't want to be here. Like, that was one thing for me now, going this time around in the recruiting process. It was, do what feels right to you. And don't care what anyone says. And that's how it was for me. Came here, and it just was like, Abe's the quarterback. Hey, man, why not?
Yeah.
Like, let's do it. Let's go do this. That's how I felt, really.
Now you mentioned BA and some of the other coaches. Another, we've got a history of Deuce Vaughn being a recent one, undersized, electric running back. Did K-State's usage of Deuce in his 3 years at K-State, did that help you understand, like, there's a fit there for me? And I don't think you and Deuce are the exact same type of players. Deuce was never active on special teams, didn't return kicks or punts, but did you ever look at his 3 years here and say, they know how to use a guy with a skill set similar to mine?
Yeah, you can ask any of my teammates, my former teammates at Colorado, who I was watching before games, who was playing in the apartment complex I was in, like, all the time on the TV. I play different players all the time, just looking at them on TV, because that's just what I do. Deuce Vaughn highlights, like, everything he was doing on the field, like, that's how you want to be used in college.
Absolutely.
I watch him, Percy Harvin, and Reggie Bush, and DeAnthony Thomas, Tavon Austin, players like that. Like, that's who I want to, model my game after, electric players like that. So
that's awesome, man. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Those are some of the guys who, they seem like the natural fits. I don't mean to make a story about me, but I played Tavon Austin my sophomore year. You can go find the clip. That was the year when he just was like the craziest football player in a decade.
Yeah.
And he caught a ball at kickoff, deep in the end zone, and our kickoff unit got down there super fast. I was one of them, and he shook me so hard I fell flat on my face, and then he went 100 yards to the end zone. So I've been on the receiving end of a player like that. So it's when you say that, it brings back some bad memories for me. We won the game handily, but I looked bad along the way. So
hey, you still came out with the win.
Yeah,
hey, that's all that matters.
So you just talked about Deuce and the role that he had. What role do you expect to have this season at K-State? You mentioned, obviously we've seen you run the football. We saw it a lot at Colorado. We've seen you catch the ball. You mentioned wanting to have more of a role out of the backfield or even split out. What do you see your role being this season at K-State?
Just a playmaker, the person that can run the ball, catch the ball, line up in the slot, punt return, kick return. Just a person that is electrifying. That is fun to watch, that I want little kids to, want to be like Dylan Edwards, wear my jersey. I want that here at Kansas State, and I just want to win football games and, be electrifying.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And I know, as a school that has taken special teams seriously for a really long time, I think it's been a couple years since we haven't had as many touchdowns in the return game. So I know people are excited to see you back there and see, okay, let's take a couple kicks and punts back to the house. So excited to see Dylan Edwards returning punts and kicks. Now, you mentioned jersey sales, and you mentioned wanting to see kids wear Dylan Edwards jerseys. It may be on the website. I haven't looked, but what number are you going to wear? Are you going to wear this year?
I'm told I'm going to be able to wear 3.
Okay. So fans can start looking for number 3 jerseys in the K-State store soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
now, you mentioned, we've talked about Avery, you mentioned DJ, you talked about Joe Jackson and some of the other running backs in the running back room. We've talked about your skill set a lot. How do you think your skill set can complement some of the weapons that we have, Avery and DJ and Joe Jackson and Jace Brown, Keegan Johnson, Dante Cephas, Garrett Oakley? There's a lot of weapons on that offensive side of the ball. How can Dylan Edwards complement those people?
First, being a good teammate, just trying to lead on the field, trying to be a leader off the field as well. And I know that it's going to come with time. I just got here, and they're just finally getting to know me, and I'm finally getting to know all of them. So just really getting that feel for the game with them and just talking to them every day. I think that's going to be how I fit in, and everything else will take care of itself on the field. So just being, having good relationships with them, not only the skill positions and Avery and the running back room, the linemen too.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting in their section a lot lately in the locker room and just chopping it up with them and just, trying to have them know me as a person before we hop on the field together and battle. So that's pretty much it. Absolutely.
Now, we'll finish off with some lighthearted questions here. Who's faster, you or Avery?
Man, I think I'm faster. We haven't lined it up yet to see who it is, but his catapult numbers are high. And a lot of guys on this team, catapult numbers are very high, like Jacob Parrish and VJ Payne and Darrell Jones. Just a lot of people are flying on this team. And
what's for the listeners and viewers out there? What's a catapult number?
So a catapult number is the miles per hour you're moving, like how fast you're going.
Yeah.
So
it's a little device that you guys wear. It goes across your chest, right?
Like a sports bra, kinda. Yeah. But it has like a device in the back, and it literally tracks, how fast you're going, if you're fatigued, like stuff like that.
So when you say there's a lot of guys with high catapult numbers, what's a high catapult number?
Over 21 miles an hour.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you might not know it yet because you've only been here a couple weeks, but who is the fastest guy on the team? Who's got the highest catapult numbers?
I want to say Avery or Jacob Parrish or VJ Payne. Those guys are all flying.
Okay.
Like it's definitely competition with those guys.
That'll make K-State fans excited to know that you're super fast and there's other guys out there who are just as fast. So
there's a lot of guys that's flying on the team.
We've talked a lot, we've talked about your dad. I'm sure he serves as a mentor in your life, given where he's been and some of what he's done in his past. Who, and you can say your dad too, but who do you look up to for mentorship?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's a good question, and I'm still I mean, obviously, I have my dad and I have my parents. Those are both great mentors in who the people they are. So I'm obviously, those are my parents. Like my sister, my brother, like both my sisters, and really my family. Those are the people that I talk to every day. And so what not to give the best advice to their, family. So
Absolutely. Now, we know a lot about what you can do on the football field. We've seen that, high school, college, everything in between. What do you like, what does Dylan Edwards like to do in his free time when you're not playing football, when you're not working out?
Chill at the house, cook, play the game, watch YouTube.
Okay.
I'm a simple dude.
Okay.
I like to go out to the mall with my friends, the movies. I like to go on long walks with my dog. Like, I go to a park and walk my dog, play music in my ears. And I'm a normal dude. Like, I'm a boring dude, but I'm normal.
Sometimes boring is good, man. Sometimes
I'm
boring
very
is
normal. Good. And those walks, I go on a walk a lot.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Wheaton Terrier.
Okay.
He's like kind of like a golden doodle.
Yeah, I know Wheaton Terriers. They're great looking dogs. Kind of look like a golden doodle, but
like
a little
model dog. Kinda.
Yeah, absolutely. More golden doodle on the back, but maybe a little bit more gray or black in the beard. So that's cool. So do you have any hidden talents or passions that people may not know about?
I can cook. Yeah.
Okay.
I can cook. I always used to be in the kitchen when my mom was cooking. I just saw what she was using and just put it towards the food I'm cooking now, and it's really good.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Now we've talked a lot about Avery and your history. What do you have a favorite Avery Johnson story from growing up together, playing together? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Man, he's just a funny dude.
Yeah.
He's really a goofy dude. If you know him, like as a person, he can't be serious in the most serious situations. Like, he's gonna laugh. If somebody's crying, like let's say I scraped my knee one time probably when I was younger, he'll start laughing. Like, he's that type of friend, Yeah. He's a good guy and just has a great sense of humor.
That's funny. Really I wouldn't have guessed that about him because he just seems so serious.
Yeah, no, he's not serious. He's funny, and when it comes down to his work, he's serious. But off the field, he's just laughing at everybody and just joking around and just being a good dude.
That's awesome.
Is
there one thing in particular that you're most looking forward to this season, or what are you most looking forward to this football season?
Really, just how game days are here as a player, because I was always on the fan, in the stands and looking at the players. I was wondering, like, what do they do before the game here? Like, what's their schedule like? Like, how is everything going here? So it'll be good to, finally, be a part of that, do the walk.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Going to the stadium, seeing everybody, seeing my family. So
that's awesome, man. Now, one final question. I mean, obviously, we as K-State fans have gotten to know you over the course of the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Now you're finally wearing the Power Cat on your helmet, or you will be this fall. Do you have a message do you have any sort of message you'd like to share with K-State fans who are watching or listening to this podcast?
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here as a Wildcat. That's for one. I thank God every day for having me come back here and get to do what I wanted to do back when I was a junior in high school. And I'm glad to be back home. And I hope you guys see an electrifying player here this coming up season. And I'm gonna work hard every day this offseason to not fail.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you electrify the crowd. Looking forward to seeing some number 3 jerseys walking around the stadium this fall. I really appreciate you being here with us today. I know you're crazy busy and looking forward to getting to know you and your family more over the next couple of years. But thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Cats Talk, hosted by Wildcat NIL. Thanks for listening. K-State family, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Cats Talk, hosted by Wildcat NIL. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or even leave a 5-star review. And please follow us on social media. Your support makes it so that these conversations are possible. If you're looking for more information on NIL, please visit www.catsnil.com. Thanks for your support, and go Cats.